Okay, round two. Are you kidding me? It just starts the music now. Christmas Memories, a real Christmas miracle. Christmas Miracle by Susan Leonard. I will post the link to this Christmas Miracle in the description. I'm sorry if you can hear the music in the background. I have to speak over it now. And I have to restart this for a second time since MJ came in and yeah, he just spoken for in it. I hope this isn't copyright music, eh? But I can still speak over it, right? When I recall precious Christmas memories, I think of a very special story, which represents the magic and glory of the season. This is a true story as told to me by my husband, a professional Santa Claus of a real Christmas miracle which he experienced. A story that I think will cause you to believe. 3 years ago, a little boy and his grandmother came to see my Santa at Mayfair Mall in Wisconsin. The child climbed up on his lap, holding a picture of a little girl. "Who is this?" asked Santa, smiling. "Your friend, your sister?" "Yes, Santa," he replied. "My sister, Sarah, who is very sick," he said sadly. Santa glanced over at the grandmother, who was waiting nearby, and started dabbing her eyes with a tissue. She wanted to come. She wanted to come with you. She wanted to come with me to see you. Oh, so very much, Santa. The child exclaimed. "She misses you," he said. He added softly. Santa tried to be cheerful and encouraged a smile to the boy's face, asking him what he wanted for Santa to bring him for Christmas. When they finished their visit, the grandmother came over to help the child off his lap and started to say something to Santa, but halted. "What is it?" Santa asked warmly. "Well, I know it's really too much to ask of you, Santa, but—" The old woman began, shooing her grandson over to one of the Santa's elves to collect a little gift which Santa gave all his young visitors. "The girl in the photograph, my daughter, well, you see, has leukemia and it isn't expected to even make it through the holidays," she said through tear-filled eyes. "Is there any way, Santa, any possible way that you could come see Sarah? That's all she's asked for Christmas, is to see Santa." Santa blinked and saw it hard and told the woman to leave information with his elves as to where Sarah was, and he would see what could do. Santa thought of little else the rest of the afternoon. He knew what he had to do. What if it were my child lying in the hospital bed dying? He thought with a sinking heart. This is the least I could do. I can do. When Santa finished visiting with all the boys and girls that evening, he retrieved from his helper the name of the hospital where Sarah was staying. He asked the assistant location manager how to get to the children's hospital. "Why?" Rick asked. With a puzzled look on his face, Santa relayed to him the conversation with Sarah's grandmother earlier that day. "Come on, I'll take you there," Rick said softly. Rick drove them to the hospital and came inside with Santa. They found out which room Santa was in. A pale Rick said he would wait out in the hall. Santa quietly peeked in the room through the half-closed door and saw little Sarah on the bed. The room was full of what appeared to be her family. There was the grandmother and the girl's brother he had met earlier that day. A woman who he guessed was Sarah's mother stood by the bed, gently pushing Sarah's thin hair off her forehead. And another woman, who he discovered later was Sarah's aunt, sat in a chair near the bed, with a weary, sad look on her face. They were talking quietly, and Santa could sense the warmth and closeness of the family and their love and concern for Sarah. Taking a deep breath and forcing a smile on his face, Santa entered the room and bellowed a hearty ho ho ho. The first one was better for that. "Oh, I need a breath and something to drink after this." "Santa!" shrieking little Sarah weakly, as she tried to escape her bed to run to him, IVs and tubes intact. Santa rushed to her side and gave her a warm hug. A child of the tender age of his own son, 9 years old, gazed up at him with wonder and excitement. Her skin was pale and her short tresses bore telltale bald patches from the effects of chemotherapy, but all he saw when he looked at her was a pair of huge blue eyes. His heart melted and he had to force himself to choke back tears, though his eyes were riveting upon Sarah's face. He could hear the gasps and quiet sobbing of the women in the room as he and Sarah began talking. The family crept quietly to the bedside one by one, squeezing Santa's shoulder or his hand, gratefully whispering thank you as they gazed sincerely at him. With shining eyes, Santa and Sarah talked and talked, and she told him silently all the toys she wanted for Christmas, assuring him she'd been a very good girl that year. As their time together dwindled, Santa felt led in his spirits to pray for Sarah and ask for permission from the girl's mother. She nodded in agreement, and the entire family circled around Sarah's bed, holding hands. Santa looked intently at Sarah and asked her if she believed in angels. "Oh, yes, Santa, I do," she exclaimed. "Well, I'm going to ask that angels watch over you," he said, laying one hand on the child's head as Santa closed his eyes and prayed. He asked that God touch little Sarah and heal her body from this disease. He asked that angels minister to her, watch and keep her. When he finished praying, still with eyes closed, he started singing softly, "Silent night, Holy night, all is calm, all is bright. The family joined in, still holding hands, smiling at Sarah and crying tears of hope, tears of joy for this moment, as Sarah beamed at them all. When the song ended, Santa sat on the side of the bed again, and held Sarah's frail, small hands in his own. "Now, Sarah," he said authoritatively, "you have a job to do, and that is to concentrate on getting well. I want you to have fun playing with your friends this summer, and I expect to see you at my house at Mayfair Mall this time next year." He knew it was risky proclaiming that to this little girl who had terminal cancer, but he had to. He had to give her the greatest gift he could. Not dolls or games, or toys, but the gift of hope. "Yes, Santa," Sarah exclaimed, her eyes bright. He leaned down and kissed her on the forehead and left the room. Out in the hall, the minute Santa's eyes met Rick's, a look passed between them, and they wept unshamed. Sarah's mother and grandmother slipped out of the room quickly and rushed to Santa's side to thank him. "My only child is the same age as Sarah," he explained quietly. "This is the least I can do." They nodded with understanding and hugged him. 1 year later, Santa Mark was again back on the set in Milwaukee for his 6-week seasonal job, which he so loves to do. Several weeks went by, and then one day a child came up to set on his lap. "Hi, Santa. Remember me?" "Of course I do," Santa proclaimed, as he always does, smiling down at her. After all, the secret to becoming a good Santa is to make each child feel as if they're the only child in the world at the moment. "You came to see me in the hospital last year." Santa's jaw dropped. Tears immediately sprang in his eyes, and he grabbed his little miracle and held her to his chest. "Sarah!" he exclaimed. He scarcely recognized her, for her hair was long and silky, and her cheeks were rosy, much different from the little girl he had visited just year before. He looked over and saw Sarah's mother and grandmother in the side lines, smiling, waving, and wiping their eyes. That was the best Christmas ever for Santa Claus. He had witnessed and been blessed to be instrumental in bringing about this miracle of hope. This precious little child was healed, cancer-free, alive, and well. He slightly looked up to heaven and humbly whispered, "Thank you, Father. 'Tis a very Merry Christmas." The reason I read that so fast is because it's like the Christmas Eve of it's the eve of Christmas, and I'm supposed to be uploading some kind of Christmas video that I feel like there should be up, and I'm recording Minecraft because Fraps doesn't want to only record. They need to add that into Fraps where you could only record voice and not just video. So you could like tell Christmas stuff and all that, and then be fun. So I'm recording Minecraft now. I'll just replace this with a picture, which hopefully doesn't repeat Halloween and just has black screen. Okay, guys, this has been Darkavenger 996. Be sure to like, favorite, share, and subscribe. See you guys.